Family, listen, first time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. I'm dying. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the f*** are you talking about?
All right, everybody, welcome in. Happy Monday. We are the Sports Hounds, Doug Benkiewicz, Brad Ryer. Of course, I am Rob Brinkman. Huge game tonight in Philadelphia, in Kansas City, and the entire landscape of the NFL. A Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Got about an hour till game time. We got the pregame show here. We'll take you right up to kickoff. Stay tuned. Keep it locked here all night for live reactions and post-game reactions for one of the bigger regular season games in recent memory. Remember to hit that subscribe, hit that like, turn those notifications on. Don't miss a thing. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Download us wherever you get your podcast, Speaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. And we are brought to you each and every week by Baggio's Breads, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Remember, Baggio's Breads in Mount Laurel now open from 9 to 3 on Sundays to help you better service your Eagles and football needs on Sunday afternoons. Big one, and we're going to get into the NFL playoff picture at the tail end of the show, but it's all Eagles-Chiefs right now. We'll get right into it. Our poll question: the Philadelphia Eagles will defeat the Chiefs tonight. Agree, disagree? Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll get to as many as we can on this hour pregame show. I got to win tonight for the Birds. Yeah, and it's not because of revenge or anything like that. I think they're a better football team than the Chiefs. I think it's going to be low scoring. The weather is really crappy there in Kansas City. I hope that they can commit to the run game and get out of here with a squeaker. You know, we squeaked the Eagles got squeaked by the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles squeak out a win tonight against the Chiefs, 21-17. Kind of a rough, tough, drag them out kind of defensive battle, which isn't really the public opinion of this game, how the Super Bowl went. But, I mean, Doug, you mentioned it all the time. The Eagles travel. They can win in all different ways. They can throw the ball. They can run the ball. Defensive battle, shootout. Doesn't really matter. So I think that is the Eagles' advantage tonight, is that their game travels and they can win in all sorts of ways. Doug, what do you think about the game?
I think it's one of the very few Monday night games I actually want to watch. There've been some bad ones.
They've been brutal. They've been some brutal primetime games. That's for sure.
I think, I feel like, I know the Chiefs are the defending Super Bowl champs, but I feel like they need this win more than the Eagles do. I think because I think I'm trying to remember correctly, they're 7-2, right?
Chiefs are 7-2. Yes, they lost to Denver and they lost way back in Week 1 without Chris Jones to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, because whoever gets home field advantage in the AFC, to me, they're the favorite. I know Kansas City's who they are, but they don't scare me this year. They're almost a defensive first team. I just don't think they can stop the run game. The run game that they're about to see tonight. I don't think it's one of those things if you guys are obviously, you're a fan, Eagle fan, obviously. Would you rather see this game be 17-14, or would you rather be 38-35? Which would make you feel better whether you win or lose?
Well, the win would make me feel.
Of course,
best.
I know that.
I don't really care how it happens. I mean, I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game even before I saw the weather report, and it is slick and nasty there in Kansas City. So, I mean, if I can see the Eagles' offense put up a lot of points and a lot of yards in a slop fest, that would make me feel, I guess, a little bit better. But then on the same side, all the criticism here in Philadelphia has been about the defense and the secondary, and they're not getting as many sacks as they did last year, where they set record after record. So, like, a defensive battle, that would make me feel good too. I mean, it is Patrick Mahomes over there. I totally agree with you. The Chiefs don't scare me. The Chiefs really don't scare me. They don't have a CeeDee Lamb that's going to get 191 yards receiving tonight.
Right.
They just don't. That's just not how they're built this season.
Their offense, I know they have Patrick Mahomes, obviously, and if you have him, you have a chance. But I just don't. I don't see the explosiveness from their offense that they've had in the past. Even last year, they said they had no receivers. They had a few that helped out. I just don't see them. You get in like this weather and the slop fest, and if you get to December, I just can you honestly say they can like run the ball against you? I don't think so. I don't see that. So I think this is a game that either team doesn't desperately need. I don't think the Eagles desperately need this one. They don't give me the Super Bowl. Don't give me the psyche, all that stuff. I feel like Philadelphia is a better team. I think if one team needs this more than the other, the Chiefs need this more than the Eagles do.
So to that point, and then we'll go to Brad. If the Chiefs lose this game tonight, that would make them 7-3, and then they would be the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Jaguars, your Dolphins, and the Browns would all have 3 losses in the AFC.
Correct.
Obviously, the Browns are in the number 5 wild card. They're not a division winner as of right now. So that's a good point by Doug. So Brad,
to get off topic. I mean, it's like not to get too far off topic, but like the Burrow injury, they have a chance to kind of. I feel like Kansas City needs. I think they're obviously they've been a great team for the last 4 or 5 years, but they've been at home too. Like they haven't had to go on the road, and I just don't see. And I don't see the same feeling I have for the Eagles that show travels. I don't have that same feeling for the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs need this one more. I think Philadelphia pulls this one off.
Brad, what do you think about the game tonight?
I think the Eagles are going to win the game. I had it at 24-20. I had it as a low-scoring game before I heard about the weather. I still think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The Chiefs have a real good defense this year. You're right; they're not as explosive. They do have Travis Kelce, who can gain a lot of yardage, but other than him, who's a threat to really break the game open for the Chiefs? They don't really have any. So you kind of got to wonder. I mean, they're going to have to do all the things that you don't necessarily see, on paper. The miscellaneous things, maybe a punt return, the Eagles turning the ball over. It's going to take something like that for the Chiefs to be able to pull this game off. I just think that right now, especially in bad weather, the Eagles have a better running game. I think that the Chiefs are going to have trouble stopping them. And I don't know about Hurts in a bad weather game, whether he's going to be all that great throwing the ball. But I just think that the Eagles can run. They've got the best offensive line in football, and they're going to be able to run the ball. And I don't see how Kansas City is going to be able to stop them all night. I think it's going to be close, but I think by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, Kansas City's defense is going to be spent trying to stop them from running the ball. Those hogs up front are just going to knock them backwards, and the Eagles will find a way to win.
Isn't it funny, like in today's NFL with everything's passing and they've changed the rules to make it almost really easy to move the ball down the field. It still goes back to who can run the ball and who can stop the run. Isn't that insane?
Well, when the weather is not good, you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to run the ball. I don't care what anybody says. Correct. You have to be able to run the ball in the NFL to be successful.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, you can have the greatest passing team ever, but somebody still has to run the ball. I mean, if you remember, probably the greatest offense we've seen in a long time was the best show on turf. Okay, without a doubt, probably the most entertaining offense we've seen. Okay, who was their running back? Marshall Faulk. They all these teams who score a ton of points, they all have a good running back. The Celtics, they didn't have, not the Celtics, what I'm saying, the Patriots. The Patriots didn't have any great running backs, but they had good ones. All the running backs were good.
They had enough to keep you honest.
Well, they had Corey Dillon one year, and Corey Dillon.
Oh, in 2004, they played the Eagles. Corey Dillon is still breaking tackles and running down the field.
Corey Dillon was really good, but some of the other championships that they won, they still had guys like Hogan and White, and they always found somebody who could run the football, and their offensive line always gave them the opportunity to run the football. So everybody needs to have some kind of you have to be able to run the ball when you have to.
Trust me, I get it. I grew up a Dan Marino fan watching the Dolphins go 12-4 every year, and they couldn't run a ball at all, and they couldn't play defense, and they couldn't run the ball, and that's why
Joe Montana had Roger Craig.
Correct. That's why Dan never got a ring. It wasn't because of him. It's because they could never run the ball.
No, when the Dolphins got the rings, they had Mercury Morris, Jim Kick, Larry Zonka. That's all three were
reality.
Great. Yeah.
Even a great guy like Elway. I mean, he never won anything until he had Terrell Davis.
Shows up
2,000 yards a year.
Exactly. Right. That's my point. No matter how good these guys are, the teams that win championships always had. I mean, the Cowboys had Emmitt Smith. You take a look back. Almost every team that's won a Super Bowl had somebody who could run the ball. Somebody who could run the ball. Final 4 minutes of the game. That no matter how the weather was, somebody could do something to move the sticks.
Correct. Agreed.
And then to Doug's point again, I mean, I think Mahomes has been in 5 AFC Championship games. I don't think he's played on the road in one of them. I don't think he's ever played. I don't think he's ever played in a road playoff game, for that matter.
Probably hasn't.
Home field advantage.
Yeah, you're probably right. And
so home field advantage for the Chiefs. I'm not saying it's not important for the Eagles, but am I scared? If the Eagles were to drop this game tonight, am I scared to go to
the Eagles
Detroit
can afford
Dallas in January?
The Eagles can afford to lose the game a lot more than Kansas City can afford it. So if you're looking at that, but I'm gonna give you the other thing, and yeah, I do think revenge is a factor. Okay, if I'm the Eagles, okay, I had this game circled on my calendar, pretty much right after the Super Bowl. The fact that, okay, we're going to play them during the regular season. We can go there and show the whole world that we should have won last year and prove it tonight.
Really the only reason the Eagles lost is those miscellaneous things that you talked about at the top of the show. They let up a big punt return that really, really hurt them in the second half. And then right before halftime, Jalen Hurts just fumbled the ball in the open field, and Nick Bolton picked it up and ran the whole way. Doug, you're a former professional athlete.
The stupid stuff always gets you.
What's up?
Do you believe in revenge? If you were playing someone that knocked you out of the playoffs or something like that, did you have that circled on your calendar? Is that a real thing?
It depends. I mean, if there was some bad blood, something happened that annoyed you, or they did something stupid, or something that rubbed you the wrong way. I mean, I get it. But it's this year's different year. I get it. It's like that. Yeah, you can use it as a stepping stone, whatever gets you. And that's the one thing about today's athlete and athlete in general. You have to find, look at all the greats, Jordan to whoever, just keep naming them, Brady. They found Jeter. They found outside reasons to motivate them per week or per game or whatever it was. And if that's what it takes for Philadelphia to do that, yes. But in that regard, it's Monday Night Football. If they were playing North Alabama, they'd get hyped, right? Because everybody loves to play Monday Night Football. It's a staple. Add to it that you got beat in the Super Bowl. Yes. I don't think Kansas City's looking I hope we don't have to play them again because they're going to have revenge on their mind. But is there really any revenge in November when you lost the Super Bowl last year? No. But I think it's a stepping stone maybe for Philly a little bit to they don't need it to justify anything, but it might just, okay, see, we're they can use this as, I don't think they'll say it, but it's okay. We're different this year. We're the ones that we're the hunted. We're not the hunter anymore. We're at the top. It's just another game, another stepping stone for them, a good team. Monday Night Football, show the world that we are the best team in the NFL, and tonight's the night to do it.
Have you seen teams or been a part of teams where the revenge I hate this team. I hate the Yankees. I hate the Braves. Where you're 19
times a year, Red Sox or Yankee.
Can revenge and holding that grudge work against you?
I mean, you can. how it gets you, and I don't think it's really viable in football. I mean, we all see it, right? Football has 17, how many games they have, right? Used to be 16, now it's 17, right? You have up weeks, you have down weeks. You have weeks you don't get up for, and it bites you. I think that at least for me, like I could feel it in baseball. You excited, right? You go to Fenway Park as a Yankee. You're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, packed houses, blah, blah, blah. Like all 3 games are important. And then you roll in and play the Tigers on Monday, and you lose 2 out of 3 because you're coming down off of this high. You roll into Detroit on Monday, and there's 19 stands. You don't really get that sense in football, but yes, you can have a week where you look ahead. And I think it's more so in college football than it is in pro football. But at the same token, you see week to week that if you don't bring somewhat close to your A game, you're going to get throttled. And yes, there can be letdowns. Everybody talks about the letdown game before the game. There's a letdown game after that game too, and that shows you where. I'm sure that every NFL coach has tricks and up his sleeve to motivate the guys, right? Oh, don't be like everybody else. Like this win means that you've heard it a million times. This win means nothing if we dump next week. And I kind of keep it. They're going to say all the right stuff. They're going to say it's just another game, but there's extra juice on Monday Night Football. Sure, you have a chance to play. You're the only game going on at 8 p.m. on a Sunday. You want to have a good game, and you want to show everybody that that's watching that you guys are a good team and that you want to show out.
Because Brad, the reason I bring this up is because in a few weeks, the Eagles are going to host the San Francisco 49ers in an NFC Championship rematch. And I'm emptying the DraftKings account on the Eagles in that game because I think the Niners are so consumed with hatred because they think they got cheated out of the NFC Championship game somehow that I think it's going to work against them.
I don't know if it's gonna. I don't really think it's gonna that's gonna work against them. I think that they just feel like their quarterback got hurt, and so they didn't get them. They really didn't have the opportunity to compete with them. But as far as getting cheated, that's just a bad. It's a bad break. Get there this year, and you know what? Even in December, it's not going to matter until the playoffs. That's when it's really going to matter. So you can't get too consumed, and Doug's right about that. I don't think you can get too consumed with a regular season game, regardless of when of who's playing who, because in the playoffs that's when it's going to matter.
Let's get some comments here. Mike Dunn, check this out on YouTube. He disagrees. He likes the Chiefs in the game, and he likes Andy. Little spell check there, Mike. And then we got Andy up a bye has an extremely good record. We saw it here for 20 years in Philadelphia.
He's got a point. He's got a point with that. Okay. We'll give him
I will commend the NFL with the scheduling that both teams are coming off a bye. Both teams are well rested. Both teams had the same amount of time to prepare for this mega showdown. So I think that was a good job by the NFL for a change, even though we've had stinky primetime games pretty much the whole year.
They've been pretty bad.
They've been and how many times have they put the Giants on?
Well, I
feel
knew
sorry
that
for the country having to watch that.
Well, I knew the second the schedule came out, and I saw they maxed out the Jets on primetime.
And the Giants, it's like
if they could put that game on Fox Family now at 10 a.m., they would. No one should have to be forced to watch Zach Wilson at all during the course of the season, let alone 4 times.
Yeah,
he has been benched for the rest of the season,
and he's going to be. And he's going to be, and we have a Friday game this Friday between the Jets and Miami.
Black Friday, baby.
Black Friday.
They benched him. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So
they
not only
yesterday late.
They benched him in the game late, and they said today that he's not playing anymore.
Who are they starting? Vinny Testaverde on Friday.
They are starting
Stroud,
Tim Boyle.
No, Tim Boyle, right? Yeah, he played yesterday against Buffalo.
He can't be any worse than the guy they've already had. That's terrible.
Zach Wilson's not even good. They're not even letting him dress. So Trevor Siemian is going to be the backup for the rest of the season. So they're out. They're done. They're done with Zach Wilson.
What I don't understand is what took him so long.
He was the second pick of the draft.
Correct.
And someone's trying to save their job.
Well, the guy who picked him is no longer there. That wasn't Joe Douglas's pick.
But again, tied into him. You're going to have to try to get something out of him. And that's
just hope.
Him second should never be allowed to be around organized sports again. That's terrible. Terrible. Not even a good teammate. You know how bad it is when they tell you don't have to dress.
Yeah.
But that tells you how how much he is disliked in that locker room. You can feel for you.
We're losing Doug a little bit.
You know what I don't understand, though? And listen, I know Carson Wentz is bad, okay? I understand that. But as bad as he is, he looks like Dan Marino next to Zach Wilson.
Yeah, he's right.
I mean, am I wrong about that?
No,
that's how bad Zach Wilson is. And that's saying something. I mean, Daniel Jones looks like Dan Marino next to Zach Wilson. That's how bad he is.
Some more comments here. Bob Brinkman, the Birds will run the ball. Our new safety, Kevin Byard, will try and keep Kelsey under wraps. Eagles win. I think if the Eagles
can do, I don't think anybody can keep them under wraps. But
I will say this:
the Eagles will win.
I will say this: I think the Dolphins gave the Eagles the blueprint to shut down Kansas City. Jalen Ramsey shut down Kelsey. They didn't score a point in the second half.
No, they didn't.
When's the last time Kansas City's done that? And Jalen Ramsey, I mean, granted, you're talking about a gold jacket guy, but like there's the blueprint right there.
Yeah, but the Eagles don't have a corner like that.
But you don't need. But that's my point, though. You don't need a gold jacket guy to shut Kelsey down. Would you agree that the defensive front for the Eagles is better than the Dolphins? I do. By far. Well,
by far.
You don't need to lock them down for 6 seconds. Right? Like the Dolphins have to shut them down for at least 4.5 to 5 because yes, we have pass rushers, but we're not the Eagles. We don't have the Eagles front. Like so you can kind of back off I just feel like they gave a beautiful blueprint to how to attack Kansas City defensively.
Well, the only thing is though that Mahomes' mobility will allow him a little extra time.
A little.
That Tua doesn't quite bring to the table.
No, I'm talking about defensively. Like the front of Philadelphia is way better. I think it's way better than Miami's.
No, I agree. I'm just all I'm saying though is that Mahomes can get around. Mahomes can scramble. He's a guy. He's not really a runner, but he's a great scrambler, and he can avoid pass rushes.
You have four guys. When you have 4 guys that can beat their guys one-on-one almost every play, there's only so much.
I mean, I think you're underrating. I think you're selling the Kansas City offensive line a little short. I mean, they do have a pretty good offensive line.
I don't know. They didn't score a point in the second half against Miami.
The Dolphins played great football in the second half. Give them credit.
But my point is,
so can the Eagles.
I love the Dolphins defense. I really do. I think they're underrated and they're getting better. But if I had a choice to pick the Eagles defense or the Dolphins defense, I'm taking the Eagles defense every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
I would too. I agree. But you're not talking about a team who has a bad defense, though.
Oh, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying that's how I point. I think they're that much better than Miami's defense, and Miami has a good defense.
Well, let's put it this way: the Chiefs have a pretty good defense too.
Oh yeah, but they're not. I said we're talking about like.
I mean, they're only giving up 15.2 points a game.
Agreed.
Well, we're talking about Travis Kelce.
Right.
I know. I'm just trying to make a point about the defense.
I got you.
I think Travis Kelce's going to get his yards. Okay, he's going to get his catches. He's going to get his yards. The key is to not let him control the offense and control the game. I think that's the key, and I think the Eagles can do that.
Well, the key is yards after catch. Like if Travis Kelce has 10 catches for 60 yards, that's a win in my book.
Yeah,
that's a win in my book. The problem is if he has 10 catches and 150 yards like CeeDee Lamb did, that's trouble.
Yeah, no, you can't let that happen. You can't
let him catch it. He's going to get his catches. Tackle him right away. That's going to be up to Reed Blankenship and Byard, the safeties. Roby will be back in the slot, and the secondary and the linebacker will be a team effort to stop a guy like Kelce. Taylor Swift.
I definitely think that they can do that.
And then his boo, Brad, Taylor Swift, will not be in attendance tonight. She is delayed in South America on her concert tour, and Travis Kelce splits between when Taylor Swift is at the game and when Taylor Swift isn't at the game are astronomically different. He does way better when Taylor Swift. Yeah, when Taylor Swift's in there, he's 125, 150 yards receiving, touchdowns. When she's not there, he hasn't had good games. She will not be there tonight.
And Rob, you can't blame him for that. I mean,
Brad, if Taylor Swift came in the game, if Taylor Swift came to watch me do anything, I would do better at it.
Yeah,
so I can't really blame him for that. Don 19 checking in from Detroit. Go Chiefs for no particular reason. Don, we know your reason. You don't have to bullshit us. You don't have to piss down our back and tell us it's raining. You want the Eagles to lose so the Lions can be closer to home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Will they be tied? They both have two.
They would be tied, and the Lions have not a hard schedule, and the Eagles are in the teeth of their schedule tonight. In the upcoming weeks, Buffalo, Seattle, San Francisco, Dallas again. Bob Brakeman, the outside for Kansas City isn't really scary. Neither does a run game. I completely agree. Camel Toe Harris, 38-35 Chiefs, so a exact replica of the Super Bowl. I don't see it being high scoring. I just don't.
Just the weather alone, I think is going to be an issue.
Ryan Swoop in the house. He disagrees. He has the Chiefs winnings 30-26 in the last 30 seconds. That would be tough. Chrome's in the house.
It's going to be a close game.
Chrome, this idea that they're two QBs getting knocked out somehow equates to cheating is hilarious. Bird's defense took out Purdy and Johnson. End of story. Yes, in reference to the San Francisco 49ers. They're still bitch. They're consumed with hate because they lost. I mean, I don't think that I'm emptying the count. I don't care what the spread is. I don't care what the line is. I don't care who's hurt. The Eagles are going to win that football game at the win. Swoop's going to the game. He'll be boots on the ground for Swoopy on 12-3. I'll be at the game this Sunday against Buffalo. That's the Niners game, I think, on the 3rd.
And he's going to see them massacre the Giants.
Yeah. You couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me to go to that game. Not interested. Eagles, Ryan Swoop, Eagles will get pressure, but Mahomes will get rid of the ball a lot in short passes as usual. Well, any pass rush would be welcome tonight because they didn't get any pass rush on them last February in the Super Bowl. And that doomed the Eagles because they set league records in sacks and they didn't get any when it mattered most. So, I mean, a pass rush is one of the – if the Eagles want to win, they're gonna have to get them home somehow. And you got to be careful with blitzing because, like Ryan says, he'll get the ball out and he'll pick you apart. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And his resume is not even complete. Chrome does agree to the poll. It's going to be a battle, but I really like the extra week for Byard, Roby, and Jernigan coming back as well. Yes, Cam Jernigan, former second-round pick. He's been on IR the last 4 games. He will be back at the right guard position. So the Eagles get a starter back on the offensive line. That's already great.
He's back.
Ryan Swoop, Doug, Eagles defensive front won't get to the Chiefs. Mahomes will get rid of the ball quickly. It's what happened in the Super Bowl. I mean, Ryan, that's all well and good. If you don't think they're going to win the game and you don't think they're going to pressure Mahomes, like, that's fine. But the Super Bowl means nothing to me tonight.
That goes into my point that you don't need Jalen Ramsey to shut people down. He's going to get rid of the ball quick. Just tackle. That's it.
Exactly.
I think that's all the Dolphins did. They just tackled.
3-4 yard passes.
Yeah, they tackled them.
Yeah, if
I don't know if
they catch those 3 or 4 yard passes, then you'll be okay.
That's fine. And their defensive line does the job.
Right.
If you make him get the ball out of his hands fast, you make him. I think everybody's seen that if you make him like move the ball down the field and take time, like they're not. It's not. This isn't the Tyreek Hill, Mahomes show anymore. Like they're not scoring 50 points a game. Like they're more. And like I still think the Eagles can win a shootout, or they can win a 13-10 game too. Oh.
And Doug, I don't know if you heard when you were checked out there, like if Travis Kelce has 10 catches for 60 yards tonight, like that's a win for the Eagles defense. No,
even if he has 10 catches for 100 yards, just keep him in the end zone. It's easier said than done, but I mean, like he's gonna get yards. That's just how he does it. But like, I mean, he got his catches against Miami. It wasn't a ton, but it was, I mean, you can. That's why, like, okay, like make someone else beat you. That's all Miami did. They made sure they try to make sure, and then you pick your poison. I mean, like go back one. Their offense scored 14 points. They scored a touchdown on a scoop and score. So like they scored 14 points.
I forgot about that.
This isn't the Chiefs' offense of 5 years ago. They still win games. They have arguably the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now as far as winning. Yes, and they find a way. But I would think there's more juice for like the players to beat Andy Reid. I think that's a more of a I think there's a motivating factor. What Andy Reid's never has he ever lost after a bye week? It doesn't seem like he has.
Very, very rare.
And if he has, it's very little. There's your motivation. All right.
Because they would have back when two teams would have byes in the NFL back in the day.
Right.
Like the Eagles would always be one of the top 2 seeds and they would never lose in the division round with that extra week to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
No,
he knows what he's doing after the bye.
They also never lost after a bye game during the season either. He's always terrific with that.
Don 19. I'm surprised the Chiefs didn't get a wide receiver at the trade deadline. I mean, they kind of did. They brought back Mecole Hardman from the Jets, but I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, more of a splash move. But they did bring back Mecole Hardman, who's fast and knows the system.
There is a salary cap. That is why.
You're paying.
There's only so many all pros you can have on your team at one time.
That's why they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore.
Correct.
But I would have figured out a way to make it work and keep Tyreek Hill in my building because that guy is so good.
It would have been nice.
He's so. I mean,
I don't think I saw that smirk, Doug.
Yeah,
dude, the guy. He's like watching a live video game. I mean, it really like if you watch. I said I obviously watch him now. I'm a Dolphins fan. It's like no one's 10 yards around him. It's ridiculous. Open it is at all times.
Yeah,
I don't
fall out of the shadow.
He's so fast that if he gets a step, I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Nobody can catch him, and you can't get it. Even if you think you got an angle on him, he's fast enough to screw up the angle.
It's not even that he's fast. It's like he gets to his top speed in 2 steps.
In like a step.
And then he's gone.
And I mean, he's doing this against the fastest people in the world. Like he's like watching like a 7A 5-star high school kid in a high football team. That's what it looks like. I mean, it's like you just never get around. How he gets tackled, I still don't know.
Doug, you know what it is? It's like watching Jim Brown as a wide receiver.
It's crazy.
I mean, because Jim Brown was an athlete just like Tyreek. Tyreek Hill is just such a good athlete. It's unbelievable. I mean, the way he can cut and the way he can jump, everything he does. I mean, it's unbelievable.
All right, let's get a quick word from our sponsor, Royal Billiards, and we'll come back. We'll get final predictions for the Eagles-Chiefs game, and we'll kick around the NFL playoff picture. AFC and NFC, things really tightening up for those last couple spots. So here's a word from our sponsor, Royal Billiard.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, there they are, Royal Billiards. There's their website right there. Visit them at royalbilliards.com. Turn any ordinary room to an extraordinary game room stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboard, card tables, dart suppliers, bars, and bar stools. Don't forget they have hot tubs too, located in Colmer, PA, 515 Bethlehem Pike. There's their website right there, royalbilliards.com. Tell them A2D Radio sent you. Like I said, turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary room with Royal Billiards. AFC playoff picture getting a little tight. A Chiefs loss tonight would put, as I mentioned earlier, would put 5 teams with 3 losses. I guess the Ravens haven't had their bye week yet, somehow. Do we have a favorite in the AFC? Is it still muddled?
I think it's the Ravens.
Yeah, but then they go ahead and dump one to Cleveland. It's like, I mean,
really,
it sounds cliche-ish, but it goes back to who stays healthiest the longest. I mean, you're looking at a backup quarterback in Cincinnati, a backup in Cleveland, right? A third string with the Jets. Like, there's, Josh Allen can't get out of his own way. Like, you're looking at, like, the Ravens look like they should be, right? But like I wouldn't be if we had to play Baltimore in Baltimore as a Dolphins fan in the playoffs, we'd probably lose, but I go in thinking we got a shot.
You're not scared. Yeah, you wouldn't be scared of that game.
Like outside of the Chiefs in Kansas City in January, the guy that just went down in Burrow is the only one I'd be like, damn, no matter how well we play, I just don't see us having a shot. And he's out.
I would be very concerned about having to go to Baltimore if I'm Miami and having to play the Ravens.
Nope.
That defense is very
Lamar Jackson plays for the other team in January. He has never played in January. He's never done it.
The only thing is, Doug, is that he's got himself a real good defense now. They're healthy.
I'll take my.
He's also got. Well, they don't have Andrews. That's true. Is Andrews out for the season?
Yeah.
They said he might. They said he might try and come back at the end, but I mean,
yeah, he's got Odell Beckham.
I wouldn't count on him coming back,
and that'll help.
I mean, I just, as good as the AFC is, I just like. Our Achilles heel has been Buffalo. I don't see them making the playoffs.
Well, Buffalo got lucky yesterday because everybody who they're competing with lost.
So I mean, and like Miami's got 4 out of their last 5 games are at home. Granted, one of them's Dallas.
That's a break.
Buffalo's not going to catch Miami. Buffalo may not make the playoffs because their schedule.
I don't think they're making the playoffs.
I said that in August, and everybody laughed at me.
We didn't count on them losing to the Broncos and the Jets. So,
with everybody in the North doing well, there's only one team going to come out of the East. Whoever wins the division is going to go to the playoffs. Everybody else, no.
Yeah,
don't sleep. The scary part is Kansas City drops this one, and maybe one more. The Super Bowl might go through Jacksonville.
Maybe. Well, I think the story of the AFC is the Houston Texans, is it not? 6-4, first-year head coach, rookie quarterback. I mean, CJ Stroud he's an MVP candidate, in my opinion.
2 years ahead of schedule.
And an MVP candidate.
But we all agreed that the Texans wouldn't be nearly as bad as everybody said. But I don't think any of us expected this, though.
Yeah, I didn't expect this.
We were all talking about the AFC like this is loaded, this is unbeatable. Like this is like the best conference ever assembled, and D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud, little engines that could down there in Houston, are in a 6-4 in the number 6 seed in the AFC. When you look at your top 5 candidates, you have Hurts and Mahomes that are playing tonight. I'll put Lamar in that top 5. Stroud would be number 4, and then I'll go wild card for my 5th guy with Myles Garrett out there in Cleveland. I know I'm probably disrespecting Trevor Lawrence there a little bit, but they've been shaky at times. But I mean, what Cleveland's doing with that defense led by Myles Garrett, he's an animal. Mm-hmm. Like I think he deserves as much MVP consideration as anyone. Miles Garrett certainly
who's going to be the
player of the year.
Who's going to be the quarterback now for the Browns?
Well, they have what's his name, Dorian Thompson-Reed, the rookie out of
Oh,
UCLA.
right. He had a big game. I forgot he had a big
He did
game.
well. I mean, they beat Pittsburgh yesterday.
That's a big win for them.
And then you have Denver, who's got their record to 5-5, second in the AFC West. Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are starting to figure it out.
Didn't see that happen.
I mean, neither did I.
How about Minnesota blowing that game yesterday to Denver? Boy, that's
I needed that.
That was
I needed that 2-point conversion from Russell Wilson to cover the spread. I didn't get it.
I knew that's where you're going.
Yep.
I knew that's where you're going. I knew it. I knew it.
Of course. Yeah. Needed it. -2. They could have just kicked the fucking extra point. I would have pushed. Wouldn't have won, wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, but you can't blame them though. They wanted to get a 3.
I understand. I understand why
that's
they
just
did
a bad.
it.
That's just a
right
bad
move. But
yeah, that's just.
I wish that they would have gotten it.
It's a ridiculous. It's a ridiculously bad break for you though.
Yeah, I'm on Scott Van Pelt's Bad Beats segment every week, Brad. Every week. I think they just look at my account and just say, "This is what happened to Rob this week," so everyone can share my pain. NFC, I mean, the South is weak. I mean, all the teams in the NFC playoffs right now have winning records. The 8, 9, 10, and 11 seed all are 4-6 and in the hunt, on the bubble, whatever you want to call it. And they all stink. I don't see the NFC changing. I don't see the end of the. I mean, I guess the South.
Horrible loss by the Seahawks yesterday to the Rams.
It wasn't good, but the Rams are weird. If they have Stafford, I mean, he can still spin it. They shouldn't have lost. I agree.
Yeah, but they should have scored more points. I mean, the Rams' defense is not good anymore.
I mean, Geno Smith did get hurt.
Yeah, he did. But he did come back into the game late, and they missed a 55-yard field goal, but that was not a very
field goal.
But they should have been able to get closer. I mean, that was not the greatest 2-minute drill I've ever seen by any stretch of the imagination. That's one thing Pete Carroll has never been able to master is the 2-minute drill.
Matthew Walsh on YouTube. Yeah, D'Amico Ryans, if he's not coach of the year, who you're picking and whatever you're smoking, I want some. Because that guy's absolutely 100% the coach of the year.
I don't know. Well, Dan Campbell in Detroit.
Yeah,
there
but
was expectations there, though.
Everybody expected them to.
I hear
you.
Yeah,
but you just said expectations in Detroit in the same sentence. Like,
true.
And they're actually they're coming to fruition. So I get what you're saying. I mean, it'd be to me. They're the only two that reasonable to me. I'd throw votes out to Mike Tomlin. His quarterback's awful.
It's absolutely. They've been outgained in every game.
Pickett's horrible. Like, I'm sorry.
He stinks.
I mean, think about it. You have Pickett, Sam Howell, like Zach Wilson, like Josh Dobbs had a hard time starting at Tennessee.
But he's actually playing well.
But he's a starting quarterback. Think about that for a second.
No,
I just watched the Raiders. That guy, average at best. Like, there's a lot of really, 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 really bad quarterback play in the NFL right now.
Tommy DeVito played for Illinois.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? He's had 5 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks.
And that's 5 more than Daniel Jones threw.
Probably.
And Tommy DeVito is probably better than Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and Mac Jones. And
I'll tell you what, he hasn't. I mean, all kidding aside, he hasn't looked bad. I mean, I'm not saying he's the quarterback of the future for the Giants, but he hasn't looked terrible. I mean, that he's been a lot better than I thought we were going to see.
All right, game is underway in Kansas City. Chiefs got the ball first. Let's get some official. I said 21-17 at the top of the show. Doug, do you have a score prediction for the game?
I'm going to go. What's the weather again? Is it raining?
Shitty.
I'm going to go 24-20. Eagles.
And Brad, you picked what, 24-20 on
Yeah,
our
that's the score I picked on our grid. So yeah, kickoff.
All right.
I have here kickoff in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Is that accurate?
Yeah, the game's now the shoe's on the other foot. Now we're ruining it for you.
Yeah.
Your stupid direct TV. They like that.
And I don't have
3 and out.
TV until Wednesday.
3 and out and a sack for the Eagles. So starting hot. Let's see if Jalen can get it done. That'll do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. Thank you to everyone who liked, subscribed, listened to our show. Until next Monday, peace out, everybody.